Hello, and welcome back to Intention Ascension. And today we are going to be talking about who am I and why am I here? What is my purpose? I have people ask me this all the time, and I wish I had a magic wand so I could just say, well, you're here for this purpose, and you're here for that purpose, and this is how you're going to unfold your destiny. But the truth is that the answers are inside of you. God placed a mission on your heart. He placed a passion inside of you, something that you desire, that you love, that is maybe just a hobby or feels like it's something that's impossible. But when you look at why it excites you, it makes you happy, it brings you joy. And those are parts of your mission. Those are parts of things that you're supposed to be doing. Those are going to be the things that free you from this matrix that we're living in, regardless of how wild or crazy it is. And I'm going to tell you guys a story about someone that I had met last year, and he owned a bird shop. And at this bird shop, he had created this idea because he liked doing woodwork and he also liked birds. And it was back in the 80s. And he presented this idea to his family and to his friends. And they were like, what? You're crazy. You're not going to make any money off of this. Nobody is going to buy your stuff. You're good at what you do. So maybe you should try and find a different way of doing it. You don't think that you're really going to be successful doing that, do you? All the deception and all the haters were in his ears. And he said, yeah, I think I can do this. I'm going to do this. And he is now the most successful woodwork and bird shop in the area I live in. I don't know if I can say anything about it, like the name or anything like that. But when I heard his story and I thought about how difficult that would be to say, I'm just going to do woodwork and I'm going to build birdhouses and I'm going to make a living off of it. I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to chase after this and I'm going to turn my hobby into a passion. And that is what he did. And now his family works in there, his kids work in there, and he is so successful because he was passionate about what he was doing. So no matter how crazy whatever it is that you're passionate about feels or seems, know that you are going to have people that come in. They're going to try and deter you. They're going to try to stop you. They are going to tell you that you are crazy for having this idea or wanting to take something that seems like maybe everybody else is already doing it. But if this is what was placed on your heart, God put it there for a reason. It is never too late. We are not running out of money, and there is no reason why you can't access it unless you don't believe that you are worthy. And so when you figure out what it is that you love, that you are so passionate about, then start to create that person. Start to research what that person does. How do they go about their day? How or where did they go to school? Where did they get their skills? How did they advertise themselves? Because all of those things go into the first step, which is research. You figure out what your passion is, what makes you happy, no matter how crazy it sounds, with no limitations. Think of it like I could do anything in the world that I want to do. And so nothing's going to stop me. No obstacles, my fears, my insecurities, my low self-esteem, what everyone has allowed me to believe about myself, none of that matters. Start creating that person. What do they look like? What do they wear? What are their morals? How do they start their day? What do they do to create their habits that allowed them to step into who they were meant to become? You start researching that person and you start to create that person in your own personal life. But this is where people get hung up, because going through and finding the passion that sits in motivation. It's, I want something different for myself. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not happy. I want more. That's exciting. That's motivating, right? But we have to go past motivation, the creation part, exciting. What does this person do? What would my life be like if I was like this? What could I do with that? And you start writing it down and you turn oh, you have to write it down. I have to go backwards. You have to write it down, because when you write it down, you are solidifying to the universe that this is what you want. This is what you want to do, and you are going to make it happen. And it's now gone from inside of you and it's solidified on paper. You've sent that message out, and it's up to you to continue down the path, to continue pushing forward. And you go from this creation, and now you have to put it into action. And this is where the tests really start to come in. This is where the people come in that are going to doubt you, that are going to tell you your idea is no good, that are going to remind you of all of your anxieties and your fears. Because the universe says, how bad do you want this? You got through the exciting part of it. How bad do you want to do this? How important do you think your work is going to be? And that saying, if you do what you love, you will feel like you've never worked for a day in your life, or however that goes. Do what you love and you'll never work another day in your life. And I gotta pause right there. Do what you love and you will never work another day in your life. And that is so true. So we're going to get tested. The people that are going to try and deter us from our paths, the people that are going to hold us back, the haters, as I say, their deception, they're coming in to ask you and show you and present to you that you can't do what you said you were going to do. So what are you going to do with that? Are you going to believe them? Are you going to stop creating? Are you going to stop doing what it is that you want to do? Are you going to be able to continue down this path? Are you going to be able to continue going down this path? Overcome all of your fears, all of the tests. You're going to be tested once, twice, 3 times, however many times, and it's going to get greater and greater and greater before it dissipates. You're going to have more trials set up for you that you have to overcome. And that is going to do nothing but strengthen you for where you want to go. And that is why it's so important that no matter what the struggle is, no matter what the test is, no matter what the people are saying, no matter who drops out of your life, because that's a magical part of evolving and changing. People who are afraid to evolve and change don't want to see you evolve or change. And that can be a really difficult pill to swallow when you're going down this journey, but you can't allow anyone to hold you back. If you allow people to hold you back and keep you in this lower vibration, then you're never going to be able to push forward. You're going to stop and you're going to go backwards. And so sometimes these people get removed from our lives, and sometimes they naturally just fall out because they can't stand in your energy anymore, because they see you doing and producing, and you took an idea. Maybe one day you were all just sitting on the couch in the living room, eating pizza, talking about what it is that you would love to do. But then they see you doing it and they're not doing it. They're not doing what they love. They don't have the motivation to kickstart them into creating who it is that they want to become. And they sure as heck don't have the determination to continue, because motivation and determination are 2 separate things. Determination is going to take you places that motivation cannot. And that is where people fall off. You can't fall off. You have to keep going. It does not matter what comes your way. You want this? Prove it. You want to go after it? Prove it. You can hear so many stories of celebrities and people that we look at today, and even people in history, and they tried 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 and they failed and they tried and they failed 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 and they failed. but they didn't give up. And eventually they were rewarded with what it was that they were chasing after because they did not give up. So again, determination will take you places that motivation can't. So when we're looking at who am I, why am I here, and what is my purpose, that is inside of you. That is up to you to figure out. You have to take that time and do that self-discovery and figure out, what are my passions? What has been placed on my heart? What do I love? No matter how crazy it sounds, create that person, step into that person, imagine yourself as that person. The visualization aspect of creating who it is that you are going to become is a huge part of it. Subliminal messages, you have to rewire that subconscious, all those self-defeating beliefs. You have to work through the childhood trauma. You have to work through the obstacles that were brought to you in this lifetime. So you have the opportunity, you give yourself the opportunity to step into your power. We are moving from powerless to powerful. It's not a process that happens overnight. It's not instant. It may look like it's instant. We may see the finished product of a lot of things, but do we really understand what went into that process? Do we really understand what these people went through to get to where they're at? Or do we even recognize what they're facing today? We look at people, we look at celebrities like, oh, they're just lucky, or this was just their path and they just got the lucky, or they just got I got the short end of the stick. They didn't get the short end of the stick. And so that's just not me. I can't do that. No, that is you. You can do that. You can 100% step in to who you are meant to become, as long as you do the work to get there. So sit down in meditation, take time to yourself and figure out what it is you want. Get on YouTube, start finding the people who are doing what you want to do. Look at them. Look at the way that they talk. Look at the way that they act. What are they doing on a daily basis? What are they doing that you're not doing? And figure out what it's going to take for you to be able to step in to that role and create that character, because you are the director and the actor and the producer of your own life. If you don't like it, change it. If you don't change, nothing changes. Nothing changes. And what are your excuses? Well, I have bills to pay. I have to put food on the table. I have to pick up my kids. I have to do this. I already have a degree over here, and I've been invested in my career for so long. Those are all excuses. Those are all excuses that keep you trapped in this matrix, that tell you you're not good enough. You're not going to be any more. You're going to max out. You know, you can get up to your PhD and still find yourself stuck in a bracket. That's insane. And that is so much stress. And the more stress that you put into what you're doing on such a high level will actually roll over into your career. And when we look at our system today, it is so broken. It is so broken. And that's okay. It needed to break, because this has become too much. This is way too much. Working from 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 or whatever your shift is takes you away from all of your time to create yourself. It takes you away from the ability to do what you were meant to do. So look at what has been messy in your life, because it's time to turn your mess into your message and figure out how you're going to change this world. Thank you. Love you.